and perspective with Chris Johnson.
Episode 12 with my girl Nili Brosh. We catch up and talk about cannabis, Michael Jackson 1, Cirque du Soleil experience, big stubby pics, the whole thing. Check out some of Nili's music on the Players Pick podcast playlist on Spotify. So, Players Pick podcast episode number 12 with Nili Brosh.
What's up?
What's up? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. I was just trying to think about the last time I saw you, and I think it was like 2 years ago.
It's been like a while because you've been in Vegas, and I go to LA, and I don't go to Vegas.
I know. What? You're like the only person who doesn't come to Vegas.
I know. Like everybody goes to Vegas.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I've had so many more visitors in Vegas than I did in LA, which I was not expecting at all.
Really?
Yeah, that was a strange thing. I've had like more family members and people from all over the world and Israel and everybody that I know like just write me and be like, "Yo, I'm here. Like I just saw you at MJ1. Was that you?" Like, yeah. I haven't talked to you since I was 10, but that's cool. You know, like, really, this is so weird.
Yeah, I guess maybe Vegas is more of, like, an adult playground than LA,
maybe,
right?
Yeah,
you know, like,
I mean,
so...
Especially, like, it is, I guess, very, like, international spot. And it's, you know, concentrated. I mean, LA totally has tourists from all over the world, but you're not going to see them in, like, one concentrated area. Because there is
all
none.
Spread out.
That's
yeah,
pretty so
crazy. So you have no residence in LA currently?
I'm still subletting my old apartment.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So
you're kind of just holding on
You
to
never know.
Yeah. So has it been like 2 years you've been doing this gig? Almost for the...
Yeah, I left in April of 2017.
Wow.
So April will be 2 years. Damn.
And so, yeah, and you're playing all the Michael Jackson, like, guitar solos.
Yeah.
Like, through his whole history of all these players like the Lukather and Van
Halen. It's a lot of fun. It's like it's basically, it just depends on the act. So obviously like the real guitar ones, you know, the beaded solo is like, I feel like the point of my job, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Dirty Diana, which is super fun, and that's a great act because it's a pole dance act.
Really?
And she's like a bad character, and I'm a good character, and we have a duel.
Oh, cool.
She's Dirty Diana, and I'm, like, killing her with my guitar solo, and she's like, oh, no, and she
is that when you shoot fire, or no?
No, that's Beat It. But there is pyro in, there's like, stage pyro.
Okay.
In Dirty Diana.
I'm kind of bummed I haven't seen it. I gotta go see it this year. This year we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
How have you been? Like,
I've been pretty good,
You've been busy as always.
Super busy. Got the side hustle. I'm officially... Yeah, I don't know that we've hung out since I've been a yoga teacher, so that would be like 2 years?
I think so. I mean, I feel like NAMM 2 years ago, or like when I did that gig with Angel Vivaldi.
That was
I think
it.
that was the last time that I saw you, and that was 2 years ago.
I had just started.
Yeah, that's right.
Teaching yoga then.
And yeah, because I remember you telling me, and I was like, how the hell do you have time for that? Like, you already had no time, like, and now you have not even... No time. So
I teach yoga on the weekends. I have two different places around here, and there's one in Sebastopol at the Diana Center that I took you years ago.
Yeah.
So that place.
Yeah, that place is dope.
I love that place. So I teach Friday mornings, and because I like work from home on Fridays, and so I teach early on Friday mornings, and then Sunday mornings there, and then a Saturday morning hot yoga Calistoga, which is like 20 miles out this way. It's a cute little wine country town.
Nice.
It's a hot studio, so it's like super fun. And this becoming coming into like my third year, like all my classes like are filling up. Like I got like more people interested. You know, it's like finally people are coming.
Yeah, it takes time
for me.
Yeah.
You know, like not just because it was yoga class.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a fun
awesome.
thing that's happening. And now this podcast is like. In its formation, and I didn't know that I was gonna do. I didn't know I was gonna be a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
And then I just like, I want to do more yoga, and then I was like, oh wait, I want to teach. Okay, so then that kind of happened, and I found out that I fell in love with that. Like I'm almost more in love with that than most things.
I can see that.
It's strange. It's but I'm super happy for it, you know. And then this thing. I'm still not sure about the podcast. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And I just want to mostly like hang out and talk to people.
I mean, but I think that's what people really. I mean, I don't know if this is just like insinuating, but like it seems like people like seeing the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Or just like the actual hang.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's part of why. I mean, I kind of keep it a little loose. I'm not trying to. Like, there's like a little theme, but like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of which.
Yeah.
You want to tell us what your when did your relationship with the guitar pick begin, and kind of like take us through?
So I guess I didn't even have a relationship. I had an unrequited relationship with it from afar, or an unrequited love for them from afar. From afar, that's hard to say, you know, when you
from afar, unrequited relationship with
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
So you saw a guitar pick from a distance.
Well, kind of. Yeah. So my brother Ethan, as you know, is a guitar player, and he's 9 years older than me, and so like when he started playing guitar, I was really young, and like he had this. I don't remember if he had it or if I saw it in the store. You know, we had this like little music store in Israel in our town, but like I just remember this like box with like little compartments with colorful little things in them. And I was like, I want to play with that, like whatever that is, you know, but I just couldn't, like I wasn't allowed to play with any of like the gear because I'm just like a little kid and I just like see like, well, these look like fun little colorful, and they were Dunlop. We had a lot of Dunlops, like because the tortoise was popular.
Yeah, sounds like Tortex.
Yeah.
Yep.
The tortoise, Tortex, the Tortex, once again,
the total Tortex.
We you know,
Torticism.
Yeah. We proved that that's another thing that's hard for me to say. But yeah, so I remember that, and I just remember kind of like playing with them in the house, and I remember seeing like thumb picks for the first time and thinking like, oh, these look kind of interesting, because when I started playing guitar, I don't know if this is like a thing here, but in Israel for some reason there's like this notion that everyone seems to believe that like you start on nylon string, you start on classical guitar and you graduate to electric guitar, as if it's some sort of like, you know, path.
There is kind of, I mean, I remember feeling like being told that a little bit too,
right?
and that was my
I don't know how that became like a thing, but in Israel, at least, like that was what people do. It's like that's what you do for whatever reason. I mean, so sure. I started on classical guitar and I was like 7. I had like a quarter size whatever. I was so tiny, but I just remember like picks just being kind of like this like mystery to me, because I never learned how to use them because I was learning nylon strings. Yeah, and it's not, you know, it's not like this great 7-year-old finger pick or anything like that.
Sure.
But like it was just kind of this thing. I was like, I want to play with the colorful thing. Like, well, why isn't guitar this fun for me? You know?
Right.
So I just remember that stuff, and I think I started with like the very first few picks that I could like collect and call my own, that I was like allowed to just like, I think when I got like a little bit older and there were like just some around the house, and be like, yeah, whatever, you can take this like Fender Medium that I don't use, you know what I mean?
The celluloid or something like that, yeah.
So, no offense to any of that, I just think, you know, I just started a little collection of all that stuff, like from wherever I could find them. So I think I ended up with like a lot of those Fender heavies and with all the different colors and whatever. And somehow when I became a teenager and I got into like, I wanted to be a shredder or whatever, you know, whatever that means at that time. And I think somewhere I must have learned that I need to use like a heavier pick, and that's when the Dunlop stuff really came in. And for the bulk of that, it was either the Tortex or the Stubby. And somehow I stuck on the Stubby after a while, mostly because of the grip. Because I think I at some point used other grip picks that I had liked, but whatever. I'd used the 3mm for a while, and then I landed on the 2. And then the funny thing is, like when I met Tony, I saw that he used big stubbies and that he was using the 3, and I was like, no way are you using these? Like I just remember like feeling like this was illegal because it was like a fucking bass pick, you know, and people are just like, what are you doing, you know? So I like went back to the tune. I was like, okay, this makes sense, you know. And I was just like, you? Okay, it's all right, you know. Okay, we can make this work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just stayed on that 2mm Big Stubby, and here we are, you know.
Yeah.
All
It's
those
been
years later.
all these times around the country and around the world.
That's right.
With Big Stubby 2.0.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like, I keep telling my tech at work to just hit you up, and he keeps fucking buying them. And I'm like, stop ordering them from, like, Amazon. They'll just send you. And he's like, no, you would just put it on the tab of, like, whatever. I'm like, that's great, but, like...
It is great, but
yeah,
still.
but it just seems weird. It feels weird to me.
I think I actually have one of your picks.
Oh.
Is that a 2.0? I think that's a 2.0.
It is, yeah.
Did I send you, because we know what Tony's on now are these. Did I send you some of these, the 420s?
No.
That's a 4.2.
Damn, no, see, now this...
He was on the 3.0s.
That's like not even a pick. It's like, it's like a coin now. It's like, you know?
It's an evolution of, these ones are for you.
Oh, thanks.
Just to, mess around. I know that you're tied.
420 is.
It's how cool is that? It says 420 right in the center. It's a 4.2, and it is green.
Well, you can't not love that. You know.
I think you just need to relax and let it flow.
That's right.
That's what the 420 is about.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I guess in some ways, I'm curious, like what keeps you like chill? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you motivated? What's like what keeps Nili?
The speaking of which. No, I mean, I don't know. Like I got into it so late because like I had a couple like not great experiences in college, and I didn't really feel like I needed to try it again for like a really long time.
Yeah.
But then when you like move out to California,
eventually.
No, I mean, you know, I had like a really bad period, like a little over 2 years ago now, where I almost quit music.
I remember.
I know you know.
We had some phone calls.
I'm talking about it like you don't, but
no,
it's
okay.
like I'm presenting it as if it's new information.
No, it's.
But you know, and with my allergies and like you know, alcohol never really makes me feel that great or whatever, and I just kind of felt like I need like a new vibe, you know, like I was just like really down and depressed and all this stuff, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's time to like try this again, you know, and with all the access to everything that we had and all the information, I was able to find something that was like a good gradual slow start to something that was not going to make me paranoid,
right?
You know, and when I found out what it can do for my writing, that's when I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
let's give this a real try.
Yeah. And no, I mean the other thing that I really like about it is just like I feel like it makes me see things from different perspectives. You know, and it's good. It's good for the empathy. You know, it takes you out of your own head a lot.
I agree.
So, you know, I just feel like it's had so many benefits for me that it's just like it's hard for me to say anything. But I mean, you know, in moderation, all that. But like, it's just hard to I like, you know, I get mad at all the fucking propaganda against it because it just, you know, it just feels like another sector of like, well, we'll make preventable diseases really common so that we can treat them and not like cure them and make more. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, let's sell them all these painkillers and not tell them that like, because we're not making money off that.
Right.
Well, maybe, I don't know, now that it's legal, maybe it'll get better because at least now they'll be making money off of it. I don't know.
There's hope.
I just want the stigma to like, you know, we've been so like gravely misinformed and it's not fair.
That's right.
There's just like so many people who like, you know, I see like the demonization of it. It's just like, couldn't have been further from what it is.
Right. No, I had a good friend of mine. We're still really good friends. My friend Stephanie. When we were kids, like she was diagnosed with endometriosis.
What is that?
It's like an ovarian cyst.
Cyst
scenario, but it can be mild in some women and extreme in others. She got the extreme side of it, right? And and she was raised to be super anti-drugs, anti-everything, which was great. She was a Catholic schoolgirl. Like,
sure.
you're supposed to be safe. Your parents are trying to keep, you in out of harm's way. And
Right.
But then she met me, and she's like, "Oh, you guys smoke weed? Oh, well, I don't know, I'm just keep it away from me." And then then it was like a year or two later, she was like, "I'm in so much pain, and they have me on so many things."
Yeah,
like it was causing havoc in her body.
Course.
And finally, she got off. They had her on some crazy things. Like it's like one of the drugs that it helps get you off of heroin. It was like. Just
oh wow!
Insane, and it was harder to get off of heroin, or harder to get off of this particular drug.
Oh my god!
She had to throw up and have all these withdrawals.
Oh,
when she finally got off everything, I was like, "Look, you've tried all that crap.
Yeah,
come visit me."
Nothing to lose at this point. Like if that shit makes you sick as hell, then like
exactly. I was like, "Come visit me in California."
What are drugs gonna do? Like.
Yeah, she's in Portland now. She came down to visit, and she
started out in Portland, and she's Catholic.
She ended up came back. She came down here, and she was like, she had her first like pain-free like moments, like by just having some smoke.
Right.
And then so it was crazy is that all these early memories of her being anti on the other side, she is like the cannabis queen of Portland now. Literally.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, she lives in Portland. How is she not?
No, but this was the 90s, right? So this is the 90s, so it was a little bit different. But and the dream is still alive, and then
Well, yeah.
But
it is still the 90s.
It is still. It's like been the 90s again for like the last 10 years.
I don't know. I've actually never been, so I shouldn't talk.
Oh, right. To Portland?
To Portland.
Oh,
I've not been.
You should.
Yeah, I know. It's
a really good town.
It seems. Yeah, I feel like I would really like it.
Portland and Seattle both fun. I've lived in Seattle for many years, but Portland is. It's despite the kitsch factor, like it's amazing food everywhere and like amazing music everywhere, beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful parks.
But just a lot of rain.
Yeah,
well, you got that here.
But go visit. Like
right, of course.
You don't have to stay. Okay. Come back to Sunny Cal,
right.
Nevada.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot of misunderstandings along the way, intentional misunderstandings, unfortunately.
But the cool thing that I learned is that THC and CBD were isolated in Israel, and most of the cannabis research is still done in Jerusalem. Yeah, there's like the godfather of cannabis research. He's now like 90 or something, like close to 90. He's like this old like I think he's Bulgarian. Yeah, he's a Bulgarian guy whose parents were doctors, and in Bulgaria were helped to flee the war because they were doctors and they were able to help people, and finally went to Israel and all became doctors. But he started researching cannabis in the 60s because he said that at that time Israel was trying to get on the map in terms of research, and he knew that he's I'm not going to be able to compete with the US or any other big countries if I did something that everybody else is doing, because we're just a tiny country with not a lot of research. It's the 60s,
Sure.
So he was well, no one's studying that, So he has there's actually a documentary on YouTube about him, but the way I found him is that he pops up in every documentary or every piece that talks about cannabis research or whatever. They always interview him, and he just at first. I saw him on Real Sports on HBO, and at first I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, and tell him, Jerusalem University, cool, hi, And this guy kept popping up, and I'm like, this dude, it's always this dude, And I looked it up, and he isolated THC and CBD. So in this movie about him, he talks about how he's I was probably the only person to ever take hashish back from the police, because he needed to go and take it to have the stuff to study. I didn't even have any, and he's talking about taking it on the public bus in Israel, and everybody's what's that weird smell, because no one had it there, and except for probably in Gaza and areas
sure. Probably hard to get.
Actually, at that at that point, I don't even know that wasn't on their hands, but whatever. Anyway, I digress.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. That there was.
So it's just so now it's still being researched, and there's a huge, growing company that
Is it legal there?
I think it's medical, because they're they're growing all the stuff that helps with the epilepsy and all those strains. So they have a facility that's
Cool.
That's like dedicated for that. But I think the cool thing is like if you do use the medical stuff, you get that high quality research local stuff.
Right.
And it's not difficult for you to have access to, I think, if you really need it. And that's the good thing, because like I think it's not a country that was built by Puritans, so we're a little bit more open to like, okay, it's just another medicine.
Yeah.
At least that's the way they portray it, that it seems to be. I mean, I don't know, I haven't lived there in
what
a
I'm
long
hearing
time,
is
but
that you have some pride around the fact that
I mean, once I found that out, I'm like,
that your
oh,
people
dude. I'm
straight
like,
innovated with the cannabis.
It's really hard to hate on that.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like if like
so
I found
cool,
out.
But, I mean,
my family was involved in it.
It's not my family.
No, I'm just saying,
yeah, fair
but
enough.
if it was my lineage or whatever,
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's cool.
It's such a tiny place, and I didn't go to the I got to take pride in something.
Yeah. When was the last time you were there?
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you still have family there, yeah?
Yeah. All my grandparents are gone, but which is the reason that I don't go as much. But I have cousins, and they all have children now, and it's like a whole other.
How do you feel? Do you feel safe when you're there? Does
Yeah.
Because I think for Americans, like we hear so much.
But it's such a perception thing, you
right.
know.
It's a matter of perception, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
But it is though, because like honestly, like I don't fucking feel any safer in the U.S. anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. How weird is this? Like when the Paris thing happened with the Eagles,
The Bataclan thing, yeah.
I remember thinking like, fuck, okay, if they're starting to like blow up rock concerts, then like it's only a matter of time before I'm gonna be like at one of these places,
Right.
And like not 2 years later, I'm in Mandalay Bay on October 1st. You know what I mean? And it's just, I didn't think that it would happen like that and that soon after, and like with that proximity, and like
right.
being in the same building and all that stuff. And I'm just kind of like, I lived in Israel for 12 years, and then I moved here, and then like 9/11 happened the year after that, and then I happened to be in Boston for the marathon thing and the lockdown. In my parents' house because I was visiting, and just like it's so crazy. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember like when 9/11 happened, and just like I thought we moved here because it was like the place where nothing like no one ever fathomed something like that. And then it's crazy how just the idea of terrorism changed
right
after that.
Oh yeah.
So we live in different times. And
yeah, we do. I mean, but we also, it's also, there's some misinformation surrounding all that too. There's a certain amount of hype of fear around it because that helps push agendas and
it's always a mess. But I mean to your original point, like I don't think it's any different. Like you're not gonna go into actual war zones, and so like if you're just in big cities, unless it's like a time that's like not good to be in Jerusalem or whatever, and then and then like locals know about it and you would know about it. But if you're just like in Tel Aviv hanging out or whatever, like the chance that you're in a place where a bombing happens and then it's like it doesn't happen like that often anymore, I feel like.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, no, I know. Like it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder because I've never been, and I haven't traveled near as much as you have, but.
I mean, it's just like it's something that can happen, but you don't really think about. I don't know.
Right. Well, other than the herb, like what's do you have like a recipe for? Like how you stay happy, motivated, and inspired and stuff? So
right now, my thing became, I think partially it's from being, like, I mean, it's so funny. Like, I don't know if it's just because it's Vegas or it's just a coincidence, but it truly is Vegas in the sense that, like, I never see a window or well, we have clocks in the theater. But, like, I feel like I work on an airplane in a way because it's just, like, in the theater, like, there's no windows, there's, like, one door that leads to the actual outside, and, like, I'm just, like, always inside. And so, like, on our weekends, we have 2 days off in the middle of the week. I really try to go, like, we have such cool nature out in
Really?
Yeah, like...
I wouldn't have thought that either.
I know.
Tell me about that.
I wouldn't either. I didn't know about it. So we have... and it's, like, really close to the city. So, basically, I live in the southeastern part of town.
Okay.
And if I go in one direction, I have Red Rock Canyon and Mount Charleston, which actually has snow on it now.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. And in the summer, Mount Charleston is a really cool place to be because it's like 20, 30 degrees cooler than Vegas.
Oh, okay.
But it's like an hour out, or less than that, depending on where you are. And then in the other direction, there's Lake Mead, and you can, like, in the summer, just, we like, take out a huge boat and, like, go and, like, the crazy people from my show, like, cliff dive and fucking crazy shit like that. Yeah, so now I just, like, it's, like, really cool desert, like, vegetation. Like, you have all these cool-looking cacti and, like, just these weird guys, you know, with spikes on them. And, like, but they have so much personality, and it's just, like... But so even when it's hot, it's, like, really beautiful and break from being indoors. And then just kind of, like... And I don't know, the desert kind of agrees with me. I mean, like, I do feel like... I don't know, maybe it's just the weed, but I kind of feel like this is my ancestry. I know this from my past on some level. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, like, it does look a lot like Israel. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
there's a lot of places that
Middle
are
East
exactly
a little
the same.
deserty. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just I really do like feel it on some kind of like more of a subconscious level. Like, obviously, there's a direct correlation, but it's more like I feel this in my bones. Like this is where I came from, type of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So nature, getting getting outside helps restore, replenish.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, no matter how hot or cold it is right now, it's usually pretty much always sunny. So that is the good part. It does feel a little bit more varied in LA in terms of weather. Now, as I'm realizing that, like, I came up here and it was warmer here than it is in Vegas, and I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I always, like, bundle up coming up here in the winter, and now I'm just like, wow, it's actually colder where I'm at.
It's a strange... weather has just been strange lately, like, anyway. Like, it's like, sometimes we have really warm days, and it feels like SoCal, but I love it here.
Yeah.
I love Sonoma County. It's great.
Yeah, you guys are spoiled.
A little bit.
The food, oh my god, the food. Yeah. It's like anywhere. Like, everything's so fresh.
Oh,
so
man.
Good.
Everywhere. There's, like, these two places that I go all the time over in Sebastopol, and that place, it's the same owner, and they're opening a third place, and it's, there's, like, Lowell's is one of them, and then Handline is the other, and then I think they just opened the Fern Bar, and, like, they just do it right. So, like, 3 places in the same area. I can't wait to go over and, like, see what they got, because they always do local, farm to table, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Well, you know all those best restaurants.
Yeah, I've taken you to a few.
Yeah. That's what I've always, like, loved about doing these trips.
Yeah,
it's
like
cool. Having the nice food.
And do you see? I mean, you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to any of the faith? Are you
really.
Practice, or do you have, like, any spiritual? You were kind of mentioning a little bit, like, spiritual connection to nature in a way, the way you felt, but, like,
I don't know. I'm not big on religion
or philosophy,
but I think more now, just culturally, I think I'm learning about what elements of the culture I want to keep to myself. Like, I feel more Israeli now than I did before, because I feel like, as, like, a fully grown person, I get to choose, like, okay, I like this and I like this, so I'm going to keep that because I can, and not the stuff that I don't like. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if that makes sense.
That's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm curious about, so it drives me to, like, watch things about it. Like, you know, I never went to the army, and I guess I would have. So it makes me curious about that whole thing. So, like, you start watching, like, movies and TV about it and all this stuff, and, you know, they're all just kids and everything, and you're just, like, you start imagining yourself in that position, and you're like, what the you know, and it's, like, kind of mind-boggling, because it's like, that's just life, you know?
How old do you go into the army?
18, 19.
Okay, so same here.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're saying if you would have stayed, that would have been probably a logical...
I would have had to, though.
Oh, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if you're female, it's easier for you to get out of it if you like really don't want to go. And I remember as a kid, I was like really afraid of it. Like I never wanted to go. And I don't think it was because I think it was because like I had to sleep away from home or something. You know, like
right.
I don't think it was like because most now there's women in combat if you can choose. You don't go behind enemy lines, but like you can choose to be if you want. But no one's gonna make females fight, so it's not like I was really worried about that. But I don't know, I was just like afraid of going to the army. I think I was afraid of like the fitness part or like the boot campy experience. I don't know.
Sure.
But it's fun, my parents met in the army and they just had their 50th wedding anniversary.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's cool.
they're super cute. They're such an old married couple.
Well,
they really are.
One could be so lucky,
I know. Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Really, I mean, like, I think about that potential all the time. And I'm getting up there in years myself. Like, is that gonna happen?
I mean, 50 is a lot. You know what I mean? It's just like because that's just already insinuating that you're gonna have a nice long full. Like, as I hope for everyone to have, but we never know. No. I just feel weird thinking that like if I did the math, I'm just like, well, to guarantee 50 years, you got to get started pretty young, no matter what, because you don't know what's gonna happen. No, so
I'd have to be, I'd have to get married now and live to 92 or something like that.
Well, it's a good thing that it's like, not like a requirement for anything.
That's a really good thing, yeah. Because so many
I think you'll be okay, yeah.
would be left behind.
No, it's not a prerequisite for anything.
And where do they live?
They live in Boston.
Oh, they're in Boston.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So they actually just visited me last week.
Oh, they did?
And it was really sweet. It was like the first time that they stayed over at my house. And it was super fun. And we did like some touristy things, but not like crazy Vegas stuff, like more the nature-y things.
Sure.
And that agreed with them more, and it wasn't super hot like the last time they were visiting.
Good.
And they saw the show again, and it was fun. It was fun to like, and I hate to say it, but it was like, it was helpful to my daily schedule to like have lunch made. I hate to say it, but it's just like, man, food prep takes a long time.
Oh, it takes forever.
It really.
I mean, it gets better as you get better at it, and you just like incorporate it into your like thing. But I can't claim to be really great at it. But I've had some streaks where I'm like, I did really good this week.
Yeah, I know.
Next week I got all these appointments. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I want to just get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I mean, when you just, the time that it takes out of your day.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I understand your life a lot better now.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, like, like, our schedule would have been crazy if you just do shows and almost everyone does stuff outside, because, like, your creativity will die if you don't.
Yep.
It's just so repetitive. And, I don't want to, like, forget about the rest of my life.
Right.
But I didn't think that I'd be, like, working all day, every day, and by choice, but, like, I don't know, it's when it becomes like, in that environment, you start thinking that that's normal because they really make you think like that because there's expectations at the show and everything like that, and we all know that like 10 shows a week is not fucking normal.
No.
But like they just make you feel like, well, that's that's just what we do. So
well, then you do start to understand my situation because in artist relations, you begin to make it. You believe that it's normal to work a day job Monday through Friday and then go out and do 3 or 4 shows a week till 10 or 1 in the morning and then drive an hour back home and like it's like then you're like look at your paycheck and you're like, wait, I make a decent wage, but like if I actually spread it out over all these hours,
exactly.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
I make minimum wage good. That's not good.
Well, the trick is that you don't want to look at it like that.
I know. I've had to stop.
I think anytime you do that, you're probably going to wind up depressed.
Yeah, I had to stop doing that.
But you know what? It doesn't it always like sometimes like work the other way around too. Like when you have like a really good like one-time thing, you know, and it's like, well, if this was my hourly rate all the time, it would be great.
Right.
But it just happened this once, right?
and both of our scenarios, there's always an element of inspired moments where you're like, whoa, I get paid to do this? And you're like, because like you're shooting fire from your guitar,
right.
And like I'm sure there's been a few times where you're doing the Beat It solo, and you're like, I'm getting paid to do
I know,
this. You know, it doesn't happen every time because after a while you're like, okay, I've done this, you know, 7 times this week,
right?
So you don't feel it the same way, but when you look out and you see your family, or you look out and you see your friends,
it's definitely like I really try to keep my mind on that as often as I can, and I think I do pretty good considering how many repetitions it is. Just to fathom that I've played Beat It live more than 600 times is insane.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that number of being that high.
No, I know.
Holy
I've already
crap,
done like
dude.
around 600 shows.
Dude.
I don't think I'll get to 1,000 before. I don't know if I'll get to 1,000.
Okay, well.
Even though it's just like.
Hey, like if you just left it at 300 or 500, that would be a lot.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, it'd be a lot. But 600 plus. Wow.
I know. It's like I don't even think about like you say these things and. It's that same thing. It's like they teach you to think it's just like, oh, it's what. But then when you think about what you really said, you're just like, is that for real? That's not but it's true.
Yeah.
Like they have it all fucking written down. So they have the tapes.
Yep. Yeah. It's like me and my commute, you know. I have this long commute from up here in Santa Rosa down to Benicia, right?
Yeah, I bet. I that's why I was like, do you really still live here? Because I was like, there's no way he's that close.
No, I technically shouldn't, but it's just like the prices are expensive the further you go south, and like it's just been. I have a good place where my dog has
it's so beautiful here.
I have a fenced off yard, and I don't pay a lot, you know. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, eh.
Do you feel like you live in your car?
Yeah, kind of. And I like blow through brand new cars like every 2 years.
Oh shit!
It's bad. It's bad. Because I'll do minimum is like 500 miles in a week, and sometimes when I do a couple of shows, it ends up being 700 to 1,000 miles in a week. So I had a 2016 car that I put 100,000 miles on in 2 years, you know, and I just got a new car, and I'm like, I've made 4 payments on it, and it has like 15,000 miles on it, like less than 4 months.
Oh my god!
So it's kind of nutty, but
now I can see why I'm like, damn, how many miles do you have to put on a car to burn through it in 2 years?
A lot.
That many, I guess. Yeah.
But I like I'm thinking about that. I'm approaching the 5-year mark with Dunlop, and I'm like,
oh my god, that's right.
And I'm like, wait, that means. How many times have I done this commute? Oh, way too many times, you know. But you know, things are kind of evolving.
200 more than 200 weeks.
200 weeks.
Probably around 200 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, 4.5 years. So July will be 5.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's cool. Things are evolving there. It's still a great place to work. You're
still loving it?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Dunlop's a great boss, awesome. And we have a really great team.
I'm so happy that you love it there.
Yeah, I have other things that I'm working on. So we'll see how things evolve, but it's been a really great place to grow and learn. Because we knew each other from back in EMG, and there's like. You know, I learned a lot there, and I was able to do a lot there, and I'm glad that you're still there.
We miss your legacy. I mean, they do great work, and so do you. You know.
Yeah. Thanks. And Tommy's doing a good job.
Yeah. Everything's going. You know, I love like there's just so many cool people to work with, and I'm glad that we got the opportunity that we did.
Yeah.
Then you know.
Yeah, so. I am too.
And because you know, I didn't expect it to be the very tail end of it. I mean, I remember how it came down. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm glad we got to do it.
Yeah, it was really cool. We haven't even talked like a whole lot about music yet, but I'm curious what like do you have any artists that are like that you've been listening to or that you could maybe shout out that like aren't that well known that maybe needs to be better known?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if like to me I feel like the people I mentioned are well known, or at least to whoever would listen. You know,
They don't have to be super obscure, but just
to
like
us, like hanging out for an hour. But I've been on a Thundercat kick for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's fucking like I love first of all he fucking cracks me up.
Yeah.
He's so hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love how like it's supposed to sound sometimes like toy music almost, like it's supposed to sound like in a box, but that it's ironic with him, and like if it wasn't him or if it was someone who didn't like sell it so well, you'd be like, this is weird, or this doesn't work, or this is like premature or whatever. But because it's him, like he pulls it off, you're like, this is brilliant.
Yep.
Like, how did you think of like putting all these things together and it works so well, and you're like, this is like the coolest thing.
He's so prolific.
Ever.
He invited me to his house a few years back, and
That's
it was
so
right
cool.
before the Flying Lotus record had dropped, like the You're Dead record, and he showed me the Tron song like video with the cat and everything before it dropped, and it was just so cool. Like, and he's like, look, I did this whole record with Flying Lotus. But in the process of writing this record with Flying Lotus, I almost wrote a complete other record that didn't actually get okayed for the record, And so he was playing me all the stuff that kind of got cut off of it. And then he's like, you'll see when this album drops, and then you'll like hear where this all came from in a way, and super prolific. And the fact that he's done stuff with Kimbra and been a longtime Erykah Badu collaborator, and
he always has the best guests because he's worked with everyone.
Kendrick Lamar,
Pharrell,
that's right.
Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald.
That track is killer. That took me totally by surprise.
Wake up and dream.
Yeah, dude, it's so strange that I wasn't prepared for that. I was listening to that record and didn't know that was coming, right? And I'm like, wait a second, why do I know these? These are from my childhood. And then I had to go back and I'm like, oh my god, he is genius.
He's so cool.
That's genius.
I know. And the album covers are great.
Yeah.
The first one I saw was Drunk.
Yeah.
And I was just, that's hilarious.
He's great.
So
that's good. Like, okay.
There's that lesser known Devin Townsend project album. Well, it's not Devin Townsend project. I meant Devin Townsend, a project album that he did with Che, Amy,
Duvall.
Yeah. Casualties of Pool.
Yep.
I'm like still super obsessed with that.
So good.
I love that album. It's like my favorite Devin thing. I think
Fingers crossed. I think they've written or are
still
writing another two.
They've done it, or they are doing it.
Yeah, I think. Well, Devin's been so wrapped up in this new Empath record that like I just didn't know if they actually finished or did that or not. But
I know it was like it's
in the works, right? It's got to be happening.
Yeah,
it's too popular. Yeah.
That's good because I had no idea like whether it's like known for his like as far as his stuff goes or not. I just knew that like I really like.
Did you see the Dunlop sessions we did with him?
No, I'm so bad at watching YouTube videos.
I'll send you the link. We did a really good job on it.
Wait, you mean like the original ones, the old ones?
Yeah, so the Dunlop sessions.
Oh, the Dunlop set. No, a
couple of years ago, we flew both Devin and Amy down. Che down, and we did it to we put their music on a reel-to-reel behind them, so it's just them. So they didn't have to have a whole band. And then how the album artwork has the clocks or the radios. I mean, and we put a couple of those. We just set up the stage, really cool.
Yeah, I need to see that.
It's really really good, and I mean, of course. It's amazing. Like they performed amazing.
No, I'm sure they did.
Stupid good.
I'm sure they did.
Kind of crazy.
I hate those people. I hate people like that.
I hate you, Devin. What else you got?
I don't know, man. I don't have time.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I mean,
I've been like, you know what, like,
gotta listen to something.
I've been listening to Queen a lot lately, just because.
Really?
I mean, I always kind of do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
which is some of your favorite, like, record or you have a album?
The first few.
Okay.
But then I also like the '80s Queen too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like It's a Kind of Magic. And, well, I guess it's in the vicinity there. The year escapes me now.
That's all right.
But
there's so like you have any all-time favorite guitar players?
Sure, I have many all-time favorite guitar players.
Give me three.
Three?
Yeah.
Andy Timmons, Greg Howe, Guthrie Govan are the three.
Easy.
Yeah.
That would roll right off your tongue. That was easy.
Yeah.
Dude. So, well, cool. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Dude, this was fun. It's just a hang. I hope I didn't say anything too inappropriate.
Are you kidding me? Whatever. Anything goes here.
I don't know.
Since we're winding it down, I just want you to smell this because like this is what we're gonna.
Oh, that was the other thing. Oh my god, that's.
This is black haze.
I was gonna say, you know, like when I think back now at like my association or like what I thought of weed in the past, because like. I always used to think that I hated the smell until I realized that, like, when the contexts in which I'd smelled it in the past would be like saying that you hate beer smell because you think beer smells like a shitty old dive bar with an old beer smell.
Right.
And so you'd think like, well, if that's what beer smells like, well, yeah, I hate that smell. So I think that was like the equivalent of like I probably smelled like disgusting old bad burn weed at like a show, you know, and be like, that smells bad. Like
it can smell bad at the wrong temperature in the wrong like environment, or if it's like a hot boxed room and you walk in and it's like
sweat.
you're like, this isn't good. What are you guys doing? You know, like but it's like, you know, when the dispensaries came around and you like really, you know, and it's like really nice stuff and they like you smell it and like you really like, okay, I understand what this plant is supposed to be now. Yeah. It's not supposed to smell bad. And I'm like, okay, I think it was like the equivalent of old beer smell in a fucking dive bar. Yeah, but not anymore.
Yeah. That's because, you know, we are spoiled with certain things.
Yeah, we are.
So.
Well, let's stop recording this and let's do that.
Okay.
All right, Players Pick Podcast, episode 12 of Nili Brosh. We're gonna do something else now.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye. Players Pick Podcast, picks and perspective with Chris Johnson. Pool table. Painkiller. Palin.